Okay, so in this lecture, I'm going to show you one example code. So this code will show a typical use of the loops. So in this program, we're going to, let's say compute and then print the balance of my savings account, let's say over 5 years, over 10 years, over 100 years. So basically, the user enters a year, the number of years, and then my program is going to compute the balance. So for example, let's say my program, right? The result of my program is going to be something like year, right? 1. So let's say my initial, the amount of money that I have in my savings account is, let's say, $10,000. That's my initial amount. So, and then the interest rate is 5%. In the first year, right, my balance is going to be what? Let's say $10,500, right? The year number 1. And then in the second year, right, because the 5% is applied to my original amount, right? And then I get this $10,500. And then in the second year, right, the 5% is applied to this new balance. So my new balance is going to be, this much. So I'm getting richer, right? And then the third year, right, after 5%, the 5% is going to be applied to this new balance. In the third year, my the amount of money that in my savings account is going to be this much, and etc. And in the fifth year, right, in the fifth year, let's say the fourth year is going to be this much. And in the fifth year, my amount is going to be my savings account. I'll have this much money. So basically, so this is like a typical. So you can use loops to compute, let's say this balance after, let's say 5 years, or maybe after 10 years. Okay. So first, just write a program. Okay. So this is. Before we write this program, let's just draw the flowchart. Okay, just for this. So the flowchart is going to be more like, so this is a year, so this is going to be variable, right? And then user will enter, for example, the user will enter this, let's say either 5 years or 10 years, right? So basically, the user will enter the number of years, right? Either 5 or 10 or 8. So the number of years, for the computations. So we have a variable called year, right? So this is year. And then this variable, let's say we'll call num year. And then what else? Oh, we have to have a balance, right? We have to have a balance. So that's a variable name, right? I think that's it. Okay. So now we have initially what year is 1, right? Initially the year is 1. Right? Initially the year is 1. And then you have to go to the loop. Let's say the user enters a 5 because he wants to compute the balance in 5 years from now. So the year is 1. So is that 1 is less than or equal to num year? In this case, which is 5. So 1 is less than 5. So which is true, right? Then true, then what? You have to compute new balance, right? You have to compute a new balance like by applying the 5%, right? And then you may print the result. And then what? You increment year by 1. Year is equal to year plus 1. So now at this point your new year is going to be 2. So it's a 2. Once is 1, right? Now it's a 2. And then go to the loop. This Boolean expression. Is that 2 is less than 5? Yes. And so just keep going, right? Until your year becomes 5. And actually it's, yes, 5. So when year becomes a 5, the 5 is less than or equal to 5, yes. So it's going to compute this. So print this result, right? And then increment year by 1. So now at this point, your year becomes a 6, right? But 6 is not less than or equal to 5, right? So this becomes a false. The statement becomes false, so this is a true. This is a true. And since it becomes false, then it's going to be exit out of the loop. Right? So let's just implement this using the Python code. Okay?